Welcome to Blackboard Collaborate BBC 101. This is a quick webinar of fairly short, not so much on the scale of a virtual workshop, but a sort of, I don't want to say show and tell, but also it's designed to be a show and tell, but with a little more than that. Yeah. So we're going to show you some of the basic things you need to know in accessing Blackboard Collaborate and setting up a Blackboard class, and some of the things you can do in your Blackboard sessions to make them more engaging, to make them more effective in teaching and learning. So let's get straight into it. Now, many of you know when I'm doing a session, I like to start with a sort of icebreaker. All right. Now, this is not a poll or anything of that sort, but well, not a poll on the scale of what I would normally do. I wanted to use a poll in Blackboard. All right. So it's a simple question. Have you ever used Blackboard Collaborate? All right. You should see it in your in front of your screen in just a bit. All right. Let me just make sure that is there. And you're going to see a poll in front of your screen. And, okay, some persons are saying yes, some persons are saying no. Okay, just 2 persons remaining. So the majority of you indicated yes. Okay, good. So we have the majority of you indicating yes, you've used Blackboard Collaborate, and of course, to some extent. Could you give me an idea of what, for those of you who've used Blackboard before, could you state in this slide, as you see here, what are some of the things that you've used Blackboard for, or what are did you use Blackboard for? What are the features you used in Blackboard? That's really what I'm trying to ask. So you could just click on the T at the top right side, just above the slide in front of you. All right. And then you can click anywhere and start typing. So this is another feature in Blackboard that I was going to show you later on, but I figured I could show you now. So go right ahead and click anywhere. So you're going to click on the T. Okay, for teaching. But what features have you used in Blackboard? Is it that you used breakout groups, you use polls, you use, okay, sharing presentations, okay. Right, you delivered a presentation for class, good, good. For recording, okay, good. To share a PowerPoint presentation. Slides, videos, breakout groups or breakout rooms, sharing videos. Okay, good, good. Not bad at all. I think you you did pretty good. All right. So nice. So good. So you have some. I see we still have persons typing. Sharing slides. I usually use it for classroom sessions. Good. So you have a general idea of Blackboard Collaborate. Okay, good. So then you might probably teaching via PowerPoint. Okay, good. So we have an idea of didn't know this feature existed. Good. So we started on the right track. Yes. So this is, and I might go through it later on, but I might as well do it now. This is one feature that you want to use in Blackboard to make your Blackboard sessions or your sessions on Blackboard more engaging, where students can type or even draw on your particular slide. Now, normally I use it like this. Where I give a question close to the top of the slide and have them type their responses. Now you could, if you realize your response is overlapping on somebody else's, you could drag it and move it down or away or whatever so it doesn't blur up into one clump. All right, so you can definitely do that. So for example, right, so we are doing, right, good. So we have that there. All right, and this is one way in which oh, cool. Yeah. Yes, definitely. So it's a very useful way to instead of having students just sit passively in your session, they get to actually type on your slide. Of course, you could create a slide like what I've done here. You just put a question at the top, and then you could let them post their responses here. And this will be a good way of getting them engaged, of getting points that you could elaborate on. So for example, if someone said, I never used it, good. So, and I mean good as in that's okay. We're here for that too. All right. And you could use this to engage in a conversation or whatnot. One of the other ways I use this feature, and I'm doing it now while we're at it, so when we get to that, I can just gloss over it. I also use it, let's say if I have a graphic, a diagram. Let's say, for example, I have a diagram of the, what process? Let's say osmosis. I'm just calling a random process, osmosis. I could put a graphic with that showing the different process of steps in osmosis, and have students now insert the labels, yeah? Or for example, the hydrological cycle, or even volcanic features. I could put, you know, a graphic of that sort and have on the slide and have students label it accordingly. All right. So that's one way in which you can use Blackboard. In case, let's make an example of it. So I don't know who might have a graphic here. Let's see. I'm not sure of all the departments we have here, but let's say we have Zwina. Zwina, do you have a graphic by chance? Any image, anything in medical sciences or in your field, or anybody has a diagram in your field that you could share?
I can look.
All right. So once you do that, I'll make you a presenter.
Let me see if I find it.
All right, great. This is just going, you know, we digress a little bit, but not digressing totally off the point. It's just later on I'll be looking at this, but I think while we're doing this now, it might be good to connect it for you, to make it more connected for you. All right. So while Zwina looks for that, Zwina, let me know when you have found an image, and we can upload it onto, you could, if you have it in a PowerPoint file, better yet, or a PDF file. All right, so this is one way in which you can engage your students okay, great, in finding, and really getting them, you know, instead of you just showing the diagram with all the the labels already in there, you might want to consider, you know, using this feature as well. All right. And so if you don't have an image, that's okay. I have one here as well, if you just as a backup. Okay, Sahida, you have one? Yes, yes, Saruj, it is. Okay, so let me just make you a presenter, Sahida. So Sahida, you are now a presenter. So do you know how to share, how to upload a file into Blackboard, like a PowerPoint or whatnot? Or no?
Hi, Justin. Hi, everybody. No. How do I upload to Blackboard? How do I have the photo, photo, and I have it open.
All right. Let me see.
I can send it to you if I can, but I don't know.
No, that's all right. Hold on to that image just a bit. So and when I get to that session, when I get to that segment, sorry, I'll let you upload it yourself.
Okay.
All right. So of this current activity. All right, Suj, no problem. So let me just show you guys what I'm referring to here. So let's say I have this graphic here. All right. And I want you now to label the parts of the elephant. All right, let's say the tail, the eyes, the legs, the trunk, the horn or tusks, sorry, the ears. So go ahead and label the parts of the elephant. And it's the same process. You just click on text. You might want to change the font color just to make sure it you know, shows. So let's say I might want to say the Right, so somebody level the eyes and the good, good. You're getting it, you're getting it, you're good, you're doing good. Nice. The ears, nice. The leg. This is fun though, I just see it. I think I see somebody putting the tail there, just change it. Okay, good, nice, nice. I'm assuming these are nails down at the bottom here. The trunk, good. So you get the gist of it, right? So you see how easy it is. So this is one way in which you don't have to explain everything to students. You can get them wrinkles, right? You could get them to identify the different parts of the of whatever graphic you are showing. Let's say you are in theater or literature and whatnot, and you want to show the stage, the different parts of the stage, the different types of the auditorium and so on. They could do that as well. So you get where I'm going with this, right? So good job, guys. Good job. All right. So I think you're having a lot of fun with this. And look, yes, you could highlight the background of your text as well. All right. Good stuff.
Excuse
yes.
me. How are you highlighting? You're clicking on the color on top?
Right. So yes, you click on the color on top, which is the text. And then you would see like next to that, you'll see a sort of bucket.
Yeah.
Almost like so you click on that, and that will be your background color.
Okay, thanks.
And you notice it's just like, it's almost like Word, right? Like Microsoft Word. Yeah?
Yeah, yeah.
I think somebody drew an eye here for this, for somebody here. All right, good. So glad you're having fun with that. So imagine how much fun your students might have. Now, if it is that you find that it might be a little bit overbearing, you can always clear the board. So you would see a little button at the top right side. Now I'll eventually make you presenters and you will see it. But you could clear all annotations with just a click of a button, and then disallow students from making annotations where necessary. So I could always show you that after. But normally when you're the presenter or moderator, you will see a little button at the top right side where you can disallow, when you can clear annotations, all right? Like this. Like that. All right? So it's just so for you to see what you can do with it. So that takes care of annotations in Blackboard, and that's one way in which you can engage your students. So we're off to a good start, guys. So we have some learning outcomes that will guide us throughout this particular session. We're going to look at, for those of you who have never used it, this will be particularly useful, how to add a virtual Blackboard Collaborate room to your My Learning course. Now that is where it starts. All right, to add a Blackboard session or add a Blackboard, virtual classroom to your My eLearning or Moodle course site. All right, once we do that, then we create a session, and then we can, we'll go into Blackboard and I can show you how to share content and so on and so on. All right, so by now I think everyone should have well, teaching has already started. So what I will show you right away is how to add Blackboard. If you haven't done so, let me ask, is everyone using, well, some of you have not used Blackboard yet, so I don't want to take it for granted that everyone has a Blackboard room set up in their courses as yet. So let's get straight into it. These are some of the things that we'll cover during the course of this session, all right? And of course, before we could get to that, we need to really have access to My eLearning. Does everyone have access to his or her My eLearning course yet, or no? Okay, okay. So if it is that you have not, you don't have access, okay, good, that most persons have. If it is that you don't have access as a part-time tutor, so let me just make sure I understand that you don't have access to your My eLearning course site, correct? Right. So in a case like that, how do you do your online classes? Is it that somebody gives you a link?
Well, when we did this 2 years ago, somebody used to send us a link for every single session, and that was highly inconvenient. So
Yes,
I just want to know that this year when we start in October that, you know, hopefully we'll be able to access it more easily.
Right. Well, let me just send this link to you because I think it will be very helpful in terms of, and you could do it now. Now, do you have your staff email up and running yet or no? Or do they have their staff email up and running?
I do, because I was also lecturing in cultural studies, but most of the tutors do not. They don't have a contract number, they don't have a staff email, therefore we can't access my learning, and that's a problem. Yeah, so I don't know.
All right, so what I'm going to do is paste this link for you.
Yeah.
All right, and what you want to do is, and you could share it with, I mean, we normally share it with the staff in, well, across the board, across campus, but even with SOE, once they make a request for the enrollment keys, now it doesn't have to be that the part-time staff will have to make this request. It could be your administrator. I can't remember the name of one of your administrators there who we liaise with, but once they make that request, we send the enrollment keys to their emails, right? And from there, all they have to do is log into, well, eventually would have to log into My Learning, and then search for the course, and then they use the enrollment keys. So this would, the reason I'm giving you this is to give a head start to expedite the process. So when you actually get access to My Learning or the rest of them, they would already have the enrollment keys, and they can proceed with the needful. All right.
Thank you.
So it wouldn't be that you get access to My Learning. Sorry, it wouldn't be that your contract is finally processed. Then you have to wait and get access to My Learning. Then you have to find the code. Then you have to get the course, you know.
Yeah.
So hopefully that helps.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
No problem at all. Yes, Sahida, you're definitely right. So that's the form for it. All right. So if you have any other courses that you need access to, generally, let me just say it like this: all courses are already created in my e-learning. It's just that you have to request access via this link. All right. Hopefully that makes it a little. That's really it in a nutshell. All right. Okay, so let's move forward. So once you have access to my e-learning, of course, so what I would probably ask you to do right now is perhaps open a new tab or a new page, and you can log into My Learning for those of you who have access thus far. And for those of you who do not have access just yet, you could look at my screen because I have the annotations and everything here for you to follow as well. All right. So let me know. You could just give a little thumbs up or something in the chat if you have accessed your course in my e-learning, and we can take it from there. Okay, good. Calicia, good. All right, Sahida, you're good to go. All right, good. How do you pronounce that name, if you don't mind me asking? Is it just Vijay or Vijay?
Vijay.
Vijay? Okay.
Vijay. Yes.
Great. Thanks so much for that.
Thank you.
So good. I think some of us are still accessing it. So yes, Rohani, go right ahead.
Sorry, Justin, I was just interfering. Sorry.
That's perfectly fine. In fact, let me just show you this, guys, as we are here. So thank you. It was a welcome I don't want to call it disruption, but thank you so much for that. Let me show you one thing here. You would see at the bottom of your slide a couple different icons. All right. Now you have the raise hand icon. So let's say, like, what I think, Rohani, that was the one you clicked, right? This is something that you use, especially if you have a large class. Let's say you have a class that is, you know, more than 10. I would recommend. You wouldn't call that large, but when you have more than a certain number of persons, you want to make sure that there's some sort of order in your class and persons aren't speaking over each other and that sort of thing. So you would see that icon. It functions the same way. It's a raise hand icon, and it does just that's the whole purpose of it, for students to make a contribution or ask a question, they normally raise their hand in the face-to-face classroom, not so? So in like manner, we have this feature here that would allow you to raise your hand if you need to make a comment or ask a question. All right, so you want to make sure that your students are very much aware of it, and it's a good way for you to manage your classroom. Yeah, so students don't really talk over each other. They're not, you know, there's some sort of order and things aren't missed as the class is proceeding. All right. So on the left of that, you would see the camera icon. It normally has a strike through by default, so it's not enabled. And you don't have to ask your students to enable for them to put on their cameras, because for them, remember, they have limited bandwidths and all these different things. So to avoid the experience being very glitchy for them, I think the principal advised as well that we do not ask them to share their camera. You can share yours if you like. You can turn on your camera if you like, and when you are teaching your sessions, it's not mandatory, but if you want that sort of connection, I know some people like that connection with their students, yeah? So please don't make it mandatory for students to turn on their cameras, all right? On the left of that, you will see your microphone icon. So if you have something to say, normally this works in conjunction with the raise hand icon. So you might raise your hand or ask students to raise their hand, and then when you get that notification, you could say, okay, Rohani, you just raise your hand. Go ahead and make your contribution or ask your question and so on. So Rohani, even though you said it was a mistake and you were just exploring, yeah. I'm just making it, folding it into a teaching point, if you don't mind. All right?
Okay.
Yes. Go right ahead. Do you have something to say?
Yes. I just wanted to verify. I'm a student. I'm really not a teacher. But this so for this website here, it's basically for the teachers. sta.uwi.edu/sit/request enrollment.
Yes, that's for teachers. That's for teachers.
Okay. Thank you.
Right? No problem at all. All right. So we have that. By chance, are you a tutor or something, or is it just a student? Yeah.
I'm just a student, and I have to do my courses. 2 of them are via Blackboard.
Okay. I guess I'm. All right. Well, welcome. All right.
Really need to understand because it's pretty technical, and sometimes I get caught up in the midst of it, being backward and forward, understanding this whole thing, this new technique. So that's why I apply to know a little more about it.
Right. So what I'm going to show today would be really from a teaching aspect of it. So you might see certain things that might resonate with you from a learner side, but it's definitely for faculty and teacher, persons teaching in Blackboard. So everything may not make sense, but I mean, you have some experience with it, so hopefully you could connect the dots where necessary. All right?
Knowledge is never wasted. Thanks.
Okay, great. All right, so by now everyone should have access. Oh, sorry, I was explaining the microphone and the raise hand icon. Good. On the left of the microphone icon, you would see a sort of watermark icon. And when you place the cursor over it, you'll see My Status and Settings. Now, before you do that, I want you to click on the right side. You'll see a purple button on the right side. It's where you access the chat and everything, the lower right side. And when you click on it, you would see the chat feature. You would see on the right side of that, the attendees list. Yeah? Let me know if you're seeing that. You could use a mic or the chat, but if you're using the chat, you're probably seeing it. But it's on the right side of the chat. If you click on that icon, you will see attendees, the list of attendees. Okay, good. Rohani, you're good to go. Yes, Dulari?
Hi, is the attendees, thank you for this session. Are the attendees recorded somewhere, or would we have to take a physical note?
It's recorded. when you go back, let's say if you do it in when you do it in My Learning, it records the names of the persons in the who joined the particular session. So yes, it's recorded. What I sometimes do is also take a check, just a double check of who's there. Now, one thing to note: when students log in from within your course, they naturally join with their usernames, but not usernames, sorry, their account names. So if it's Andra Salandi, Andra Salandi wouldn't have a made-up name or pseudonym. Andra Salandi will join as Andra Salandi. So they don't really get to fix their names and so on accordingly. All right. So that makes it even more specific for you to verify who's attending your particular session. Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Great, no problem at all. All right, so good. So you're on the attendees list. So you could see it right now. We have 29 attendees, and you can see the names of persons here. Yeah. Now, I want you to go back now. Don't close that window off, that ribbon off. Go back to the watermark on the icon on the left of the microphone. And you will see when you click on it, if I were to ask you a question, how was lunch? Then you would click any of the feedback icons to indicate that. So go ahead and click on those icons. How was lunch? So we have one person who was, Sahida is happy about lunch. Kalasia is happy about lunch. I guess you guys had a really good lunch break. Ruhani and Wendy and not so, yeah, I guess you guys didn't have lunch, I'm assuming?
Yes.
Janelle, I see you're confused about lunch. How so?
Still waiting for it to arrive.
Oh, oh shucks. That. Yeah, I don't know how to help you with that. But so we shouldn't be talking about lunch right now. All right. Okay. Good. And when you see, so you notice when you click on it, you would be able to see who indicated what, right? That's why I was able to identify Sahida or VJ or Vijay, I think I pronounced it wrong. Their responses. All right. So this is another feature in Blackboard that you could use to engage your students in the sense that it's faster than the poll. Much faster than the poll because you could just verbalize a question instead of having to type it out, and they can give their responses accordingly. All right, and from that you could segue into a nice, productive discussion, classroom discussion. So let's do it again. Andra, do you want to ask a question and have persons respond? Andra?
No. Yes, I just heard many. I had just stepped away 1 second. Just someone called me. Yes, what was it, please?
Could you ask a question and have others respond to it using the pool?
Is it raining today?
Oh, is it raining? Oh, good question. Is it raining today? All right, so we have some responses. Right, do you want, make sure and click it in the feedback icon, guys. So it's just another example of using it. Good. All right. So good. Most persons replied in the all right. So yeah, I see some persons posting in the chat. No, not really in the chat. I wanted you to use the same feedback feature. So it's the same watermark feature that you click on the left side of the microphone and you could give your feedback there. So let's ask a question. How do you feel about the vaccinations for COVID? And you could click whether you're happy, sad, surprised, confused. All right, go ahead, Arlene. I see you raise your hand. So far, we have, as you could see in the attendees list, over 7 persons happy about it. 1 person is sad, 1 person is shocked or confused, not confused, sad. Yeah. So good. Nice. So that's how you use it, guys. It's very simple. Yeah. Any questions on that? Yes.
Yes. Hello.
Yes. Go ahead.
What I'm asking is, you said a watermark, but in which part is that located?
Okay, no problem. Thank you for asking that question. It's at the bottom of the slide in front of you with a watermark on the left side of the microphone. You should see like a sort of a silhouette of a person almost.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah. And that's what so when you click on it, you would see the feedback options: happy, sad, surprised, confused, that kind of thing.
Okay, thank you.
No problem at all. I think someone just raised their hand. I'm not too sure who it was. I just missed it. All right. Okay, so I think we're good to go. So that's just a... Yes, Andrew, go ahead. Andrew? Okay.
I had to run to see my mother for 1 second, and I missed something here. I am not seeing the microphone and the watermark. I believe I missed something, and my screen still has the page that I left out there. I left that with 1 and 2. That's all I'm seeing.
What page can you describe the page? What page are you seeing?
From your course homepage, click on Turn Editing On. To scroll on the first button, click Add an Activity or Resource.
Okay, so you're seeing the slide. At the bottom of that. Yeah, at the bottom of that slide, just at the bottom, you're going to see 4 icons. Just where you click for your microphone, you should see on the left side of that microphone, you should see a sort of silhouette person. Are you seeing it?
Yes, I'm seeing it.
Right, and that's what yeah, and you would see feedback.
Oh. Thank you.
Yeah, whether you agree or disagree and that sort of thing. So
yes, thank you.
I will take the time to show you the poll because I think this is a much faster way of taking a poll than the traditional way. Because you could easily verbalize a question, whereas a poll you'll have to copy and paste or cut and paste or type out a question and responses. And it could be a bit, especially if you're doing a session by yourself, it could be a bit not the smoothest transition. Yeah. So hopefully that helps. So let's get back into setting up a Blackboard, adding Blackboard to your My Learning course. So from your course homepage, you're going to click on Turn Editing On. Now, Turn Editing On is usually at the top of your screen, your course site. So let me share my screen, and I'll show you where it's at. All right. So right now you should see my screen. All right. And Turn Editing On is right here. Right on the top right side. So you would see it normally, and let's say for example your course title is here, and you will see it here. So when you click Turn Editing On, it's a big blue button on the right side. You would see some icons appear on your course site. So for example, you will see edit, you'll see add an activity or resource, you'll see a host of other things. All right. What I want you to do is scroll to the block that you want to add your Blackboard session. Now you only need to add it once for your entire course. So even though I have it here, for the sake of this particular workshop, I'll add it again. All right. So you click Add an Activity or Resource. Let me show you where that is. So let's say in your first block, so let's say your course title is here and all of that stuff. You want to add it close to the top of your course because that's something that students will always be going back to. So close to your course outline and so on at the top of the page. You want to click add an activity or resource, which is right here. Add an activity or resource. And that will, when you click on that, a pop-up window will appear. And already you see it now, it's in alphabetical order. So, and really the best way to identify it is that Blackboard Collaborate is the only purple icon on the list. All right, and that's right here. So you click on it, and it will take you here to a new page. All right. When you get to this page, you click, you just insert a title. I normally give it virtual classroom, but because I already have that, I'll just call it test for now. But you can give yours a proper title, virtual sessions, virtual classroom, that sort of thing. So I'll give you a couple seconds to do that. And then you just scroll all the way down and click Save and Return to Course. Save and return to course. All right. Now, when you click Save and Return to Course, you will see that the activity has been added to your course site, as we see here. All right. So far, so good. Any questions so far? No? All right. I guess we're doing good. We're doing good. All right, so let's go to the next step. So once you have that, then you click on the actual Blackboard space that you created. So in this case, test, and you will see some things that I created before. So let's say test, I have this here, and I want to, now you could do two things. This here will take you straight to your normal, your general course Blackboard space, all right? But what I prefer to do, and this is really because I like to make sure that students know where to go, and it's easy for me to backtrack and see what sessions are dated accordingly and so on. I like to create a session manually. So to do that, you will see Create Session at the top here. If you don't have any sessions in your course, you'll see Create Session somewhere in the middle here. All right. But you will always see it here as well. So click on Create Session. Create Session. And that will take you to a page that looks something like this. It usually is either split screen vertically or horizontally. It varies depending on the configurations of your particular device and or browser. All right. Sometimes it could be a little difficult to navigate through because the space is so small, but just bear with me. If it doesn't show vertically like this, it would show horizontally. All right. But you always have this scroll bar at the side here to navigate bit by bit. So go ahead and give it a name. Give the session a name. What I try to do is identify it by either the number of the session or the topic or module that I'm dealing with. So if it's active learning, that might be the name of a module, then I would give it active learning. If it's a hydrological cycle, I could give that name the hydrological cycle because that's what that lecture is all about, or that session is all about. And this is one way in which you can pre-schedule all of your sessions, you know, and it makes it easier to navigate through. It also makes it, when you are, how to say it? When students are reviewing, it saves with the same title, so they don't have to sift through a whole bunch of recordings just to get one recording. Yeah? So once you've done that, you will see the start date. So you could set the start date and time. Let's say I am the 24th, for example, and I can set the time accordingly. All right, so go ahead and set the time for your particular session. Once you've done that, I want you to click No End Open Session. Why? Because this session, you don't want it to cut off on you. You don't want it to be to disappear or whatnot. You want it to just stay there, and you will decide when the session has ended. You don't want that, the session, let's say you put it for to end at 3:14 or 3:30, and it cuts you off like what would happen with Zoom, for example. You could manually end the session accordingly. So it's always a good idea to click No End Open Session. I wouldn't recommend clicking Repeat Session. That is not necessary. You don't have to do it, depending on the nature of your course. If you want to repeat it, it's up to you, but you don't have to. All right. Then early entry, I set it normally to 60 minutes before, so that students and other faculty, if part of it, can access the course site, not the course site, the classroom, and make sure they test out any kinks and any sort of technical requirements ahead of time. And then right after that, now you could click Create. Now I'm just showing you before you click Create. These things you can also see in your particular session as well. So session settings, that's the gear button. All right. Do you want participants to allow to download the recordings? That's up to you. Do you want to allow sharing of files and so on? And it's really just permissions in the session. All right. Of course, if there's profanity, you definitely want to click the profanity filter, but you would know your class accordingly. So I don't always have to do that with mine. So if you know your students are kind of a bit of a rowdy bunch or unpredictable, then definitely you want to click hide profanity in chat messages. If not, if you don't, they may add profanity and then you could just kick them out of the room. It's up to you. It's just part of your classroom management. All right? So once you've done that, you click Create, and your session is created. So we see here, test, what I just created, and it's grayed out only because it's predated, in the sense that it will open 60 minutes before this particular thing, this particular time, 2:14. All right. So you, like I said, you could pre-schedule all of your sessions. You don't have to do this every week. You could set it up in advance, and then you just go in and you click accordingly. And that's the same thing for students as well. All right. Any questions on that? Yes, go right ahead.
How do you set all your schedule for all the classes? Do you go back into the first page with add resource?
Right, good question, good question. So what you will want to do is you don't have to go back to the first page. Once you create Blackboard for your course, that's it. You don't have to go over and do all of that all over again. What you would probably want to do is just click Create Session, because you already have the room. Picture it like this. Blackboard is the auditorium, and you're basically scheduling classes in that auditorium, that virtual auditorium space. So you just click Create Session, and you do the process over again. But you don't have to go to add turn editing on, add a resource, etc., etc. It's already there. All right. Any other questions? Yes, go right ahead.
So suppose I have 12 weeks class. That means 12 weeks of classes. So I have to create 12 links, create sessions.
Right. Good question as well. So you don't have to. You don't have to, because remember you have this course site, this link here that is standard that goes straight for your course. The only difference is that it becomes a little bit onerous when you or your students need to go back and check and see what has been done before, what has been, you know, the flow of topics throughout your entire course. If you think it's, you know, I would recommend creating a session for each week in advance. To me, I just like that because it's a little easier for me to follow and to keep track of where I am in the course, and for students to know where they are in the course, and when they're reviewing, they know, okay, this session is on module 1, this is module 2, or whatever topics you might have, as opposed to this. Because what this does is give it a generic title that is the same for all. So it's difficult to tell what was covered in each session. Yeah, because it's a generic title. So for the sake of archiving and you know, organizing your stuff and so on, it's better to create a session for each week or whenever you have a session. All right, but it's not mandatory. Yeah, go ahead, Dulari.
So if I want to see the schedule, I'll have to come back in here, or does this tie into some sort of reminder on the calendar, or how do I view it if I want to, and how do I share it?
Right, share what in terms of the
session, so the dates and the times. If I want to share it with students, how do I do that?
You don't have to share it at all, actually. Once it's here, if you pre-schedule all of your sessions, they see, for example, what is upcoming. So you'll see like test 1 here. Notice that this one is grayed out and there's a date on it. So this would let students know that this is coming up at this particular date. These others, session 3, 4, 5, they went already. So they're already highlighted and they're past sessions.
So does that mean, sorry.
Go ahead.
Does that mean whatever we put in here, the students can access it? They can see?
Yes.
Okay.
Right. They can see, let's say, for example, when sessions are coming up. So let's say and it's good that they see this, because they would need to map out, you know, when sessions are taking place and so on. Because remember, they are doing multiple times. So they need to know when you have sessions every week or every week and so on.
So the one that I just put in, they can see it?
Yes, it will be. What date did you put for it?
Future dates, like real dates.
Right. So it will be grayed out just as you are seeing it here. And they cannot click on it. They cannot click on it.
Okay.
They would just see it, but it's not clickable.
They can only access it 60 minutes before, because that's how we set it up.
Correct.
Okay.
All right. Any other questions?
Hi, Justin. Calicia.
Yes. Hi.
I recall previously when you click on the BBC link, it brings it up in a different tab instead of how it's laid out embedded on the page here. Is this a new change in the application that is no longer bringing it up on a separate page? Or can you do that from the way you set it up?
From the way it's set up here, I think it goes to a new tab, I believe. Let's test it out. No, I know it's supposed to be in a new tab. Let's try this one.
It's in a new tab as opposed to laid out or embedded on this area as it's laid out, how you're seeing it here.
Yeah, I know it normally takes you to a new tab. Yeah, it opens in a new tab. All right. So yeah, so it wouldn't replace the My Learning page, because remember, and it works better that way, because if for whatever reason you got difficulty and you have to leave that course, that session Blackboard room, it'll help if you have this here, so you just click and you come back one time. Yeah.
Okay. All right. And just to verify that you said that the system is working now like Zoom, where if you set the end time as 10:30, or for us, my class will be 10:30 in the night. If we go past 10:35, we will all get booted out. Is that correct?
No. I was saying in the settings to ensure that it doesn't cut off at all, and you could do that. So let me just go back and show you. I was saying that you make sure and click no end open session. Instead of setting an end time, yeah, you just set a no end session. So you could leave it as long as you'd like.
Okay, because usually we set it up with a specific end time. That's why.
Right, and that's okay, you know. But you just want to make sure, just it's better to leave it as no end, and you just X off when the time comes, because sometimes you might have 5 minutes because students, you might need 5 extra minutes because students are asking questions, or for whatever reason, or a student might just want a little extra tutorial help or something after a particular session. So you want to leave it as a no end open session, and then when the session closes, once everyone leaves the room. Yeah.
Yeah. And I also, and just to add to the for the class purposes as well, too, once you set an end time, what happens if we do go over and students get bumped out? Students are unable to sign to
come back in.
Yeah. So I only notice that afterwards. Okay, great. Thank you.
Yes.
All right.
No problem at all. Any other questions? Yes, Sahida.
Hi, Justin. A follow-up question on this topic here. So, if when we finish the classroom, we can close the classroom. Then, when we finish the session, we can close it. And if we leave it open, that means the students can still engage with each other for a short while after. Is that?
Yes, they can, but they can't do anything really if they're not participants or if they're not presenters or moderators.
Right.
Yeah. They can't do anything.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. But that's when they have an assignment they're going to work on for a short while after. You can
right.
Yes.
You could definitely, yes. What you can do as a moderator, and I'll show you in just a bit, you could change their privileges, for example, to presenters.
Right.
And that will allow them to see each other's, whatever they're working on and so on for subsequent assignments. So yes, you could do that as well.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Yes. In fact, and I'm just letting the cat out of the bag a little bit, for those of you who are, in this year's Cuttle, you would have stuff like that to do. So you know yourselves, so you'll get first-hand experience with that.
My sympathies to them. I mean, congratulations is what I really meant to say. Yeah.
Yes. All right. Good. So we're good to go there. Yeah. I see Dr. Alexander. Vivian, is that you?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
I thought you're trying to hide here,
No.
All right, good. So any other questions on setting it up in my learning? All right, so I think we're good to go there. So basically, this is how you access it or set up your Blackboard sessions in my e-learning. Just to go over the steps one more time. So you turn editing on, that's the first step. Then you click add an activity or resource. All right, and that will take you to this pop-up window where you click on Blackboard Collaborate. Like I said, it's the second icon, but it's in alphabetical order. So you would see assignment, Blackboard, book, choice, database, etc. If in doubt, just look for the purple icon. It's the only purple icon there. All right. Once you do that, it will take you to a page that looks something like this, which you just saw live in the flesh or virtually. You give it a title, normally virtual sessions, online classes, but just make sure it's something that is consistent. And then you click save and return to course. So it's almost as easy as just clicking a button. You just have 3 buttons to click. All right. Once you do that, it goes straight, it's added to your course site. All right. And then what we did just now as well, just to show you, so we put things in perspective, we created a session in Blackboard So which is where you click on the session, on the room you just created. So let's say the virtual auditorium, the virtual lecture hall, which is what you just created. Sorry. And you created a session in that lecture hall, that virtual lecture hall. All right. Once you click create session, you give it a title, you set the other configurations and so on in terms of date, time, and whatever preferences you may have, and then you click create, and then the session is created. All right. So very quickly, I don't think this needs to, I need to go too much in depth in this part because we kind of covered it at the beginning of the session. So in terms of joining a BBC session from My eLearning, you simply click join session. So you would see the three dots at the side of your of that session you just created. Now, if it's something that you created, you pre-schedule, you're probably not going to see this, but you would definitely see the three dots in a circle sort of faded out. Yeah? Right where this arrow is here, and then you click join session. It'll pop up. Once you click that three circle, the ellipsis in that circle there, you will see join session. You click join session, and a new window will appear where it takes you to this. All right, and Calicia, this is just further verification of what I was saying before. All right, where it will take you to a new window and into Blackboard. A new window or tab, let me say it like that. And of course, I went through this part with you, no problem at all. I went through this part with you in terms of the layout of what Blackboard looks like and the 4 buttons at the bottom of the screen. So just to give you an idea of where we are now, based on what we started, we identified these key areas, and now we're going further now into uploading or sharing files, sharing a screen, and so on and so on, and that sort of thing. All right. So let's get into sharing a file. And before we get to that, one of the things I want to do is make some of you, I'll make 1 or 2 of you a moderator. So Calicia, I'm making you a moderator. And Vivian, I'll make you a moderator. And let me see. And Janelle, can I make you a moderator? You comfortable with that?
I'm joining from my phone, so my options
are.
Oh,
okay. All right. Okay, no problem. All right, Rohani, I'll make you a moderator. And so what I'm going to ask Calicia, Vivian, and Rohani to do is to make other persons presenters. Make other persons presenters. Now, to do that, you go to the attendees list. Go to the attendees list. And then remember that's in the bottom right side. And you're going to see 3 dots in a circle, that's sort of like an ellipsis in a circle. Calicia, how you became somebody made you a presenter, I made you a moderator. All right, I don't know how that happened. All right, so Vivian, did you do that?
No.
So your microphone just came on.
No.
All right, so good. So when you go to the attendees list, you're gonna see each person's name. All right, and next on the right side of each person's name, you're gonna see a circle with 3 dots in it. Click on that, and it will automatically allow you to make moderators or presenters in this session. So make other persons presenters, not moderators, just presenters. So what I'm going to ask is that while some of you are right, so that's basically one way to do it, or the way to do it, to make students presenters. Let me add some other persons as moderators so they can get that experience as well. Sahida, I'll make you a moderator. Arlene, I'll make you a moderator. So you could follow the same process. You just go to the attendees list and you add persons. You click on the three dots next to each person's name with the little circle. You will see an option, make moderator or make participant or make presenter. Go ahead and add that person as a presenter. All right. Oh, I think Arlene has technical difficulties. Okay. Yes, Sahida?
Yes, Justin, I'm seeing make captioner. Is that what you meant?
No, make presenter. So go to the participants list.
Somehow, when I select, like I select a name, I'm seeing make moderator, make participant, make captioner. Okay, I'll try another name.
Because go to the bottom of the screen, scroll down and go to the participants list.
Oh, okay, right.
Yeah.
Okay,
now guys,
yeah, thanks.
Try not to change the PowerPoint because that will throw off the entire recording and other things. So please follow the instructions. All right. Okay, so once you have that, now I'm going to ask you to add a file. So to do that, guys, you click on the next to the participants list. You would see on the right side of that attendees list, you're going to see an icon with a little arrow in it, almost like an email attachment. Click on that icon.
It says share content, right?
Yes, you will see share content.
So that's at the bottom, chat, the attendee list, then share content. Okay.
Correct. All right. I'll try to show you on the slide here so you get some guidance in it. So you would see the directions here. So once you click on share content, which is at the bottom here, you would see share files. So click on share files. And once you click on share files, you would see a box that looks something like this on the right side here. Add files. Now you can do it in two ways. The more efficient way to do it is just to drag it from whatever folder that you might have your file stored in and drag it into that perforated box, that dotted box. Just so you know, Blackboard would only accept certain formats, file formats. Whether it's a PowerPoint, an image such as a JPEG or an image, PNG, JPEG, or a PDF. Now you can easily save your PowerPoint as a PDF as well, right? Just so it doesn't skew the layout of files when it goes to Blackboard, because Blackboard will sort of process different files and then allow you to present. So go ahead now and add files to this Blackboard session. Yes, go right ahead. Makanzo?
Yes, good day. For the files, it has a certain size allotted to be uploaded?
No. Well, generally, because PDFs and so on tend to be very small, you don't have to worry too much about the size. If it's a PowerPoint, you can go to click Save As, open your PowerPoint and click Save As. When you click Save As, you would see, what is it? Where you get to specify the folder, and you would see the name, but right under the file name, you would see file type, I believe is what you would see. And then you just click PDF. It's from a list, it's a drop-down menu. All right, so I see we have one document, PDF, Higher Education Teaching Excerpt from Sahida. Anybody else? Fermented beverage, good. So this is a good way as you're uploading your content. This is a good way of, if you have a case study or some sort of document that you want to share to students, and you're going through that, this is the way to do it. All right, so let's say, don't try not to, please don't go through, switch your PowerPoint. So yes, good. So to share your particular file, you just click on it and click share now at the bottom of the screen. So go ahead and someone could click on it and any particular file in the repository, and then click share now. Thank you. Who did that? Good. So right, so we have that, the elephant. Right, ancient four-legged wheel. Okay, wow. So go ahead and click another file. Good. Counter current flow. Right. And this is a good example where you would insert, where you could let students put annotations on a particular diagram. Let's say, for example, you didn't have T1 and heating medium and so on. You could let them insert the annotations accordingly. Yeah? Yes, Sahida?
Thanks, Justin, because that's exactly what I do, but I have to do it, I have to write it in for them. So this is very helpful for my classes.
Excellent. I'm glad to hear that. So good, very good. And no problems, Rena. And that's basically how you share content. It's good. I think somebody is going right. Another file. Ancient four-legged wheel found in Egypt, named after. Wow. Okay. And you could even now, this could be made even bigger. You would notice if it is you find the font size is difficult for you to read, each student can customize it to suit. So you would see at the top left side, you would see a magnifying glass, one with a minus sign, one with a plus sign. Yeah. So if you see that, if you click the plus sign, it makes it bigger for you. If you click the minus sign, it makes it smaller. Yes, go right ahead.
I realize the files to add is only like image, PowerPoint, or PDF, but I'm not seeing video. You can't upload video to.
No, you can't share video. No.
Okay.
If you're sharing video, you would have to do it either as a link, posting the link in the chat, or sharing your screen. And I'll show you how to share your screen in just a bit. All right. But I recommend actually just post, if you have a link for it, like a YouTube link, then just share the link in the chat and give them like about, depending on how long the video is, you give them some time to look at it and then come back and discuss or state certain findings and so on. All right. Yes, Carlisle.
So how to stop share? How to stop share now?
Good. So you see that square button at the top in a circle at the top right side? For some reason, Blackboard likes shapes. Good. And that's how you stop sharing.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
No problem at all. Yes, Vivian?
So in sharing, each time a person shares, it overrides the previous person shared. And then that person has to reshare again, or does it remain after they stop sharing?
When you say reshare, in terms of bring it back up or upload the document?
Yeah, so you see like how I uploaded the elephant and then someone else uploaded the flow chart. If they stop share, then what I would have to reshare my elephant.
Yes, correct. All right. Because remember, you all have the same set of privileges now in terms of presenters. So, but the moderator, as a moderator, you could stop other persons from sharing by making them participants. So there are three different roles in a Blackboard session. You have the moderator, who can do anything in the Blackboard session. Then you have the presenter, who can present, upload documents, and present and navigate through slides and documents. And then you have the participants who will view things and maybe participate in polls and whatnot, the chat and so on. So that kind of gives you, each role has certain, it's like tiers and has certain privileges. Yeah. So if you have a course where you want students to do presentations, Vivian. Let's say, I know you're into research and so on. So let's say you want students to demonstrate, some field work of some sort. They might have a video recording of that, so they could share their screen, or they might have a PowerPoint where they document the process that they'd use to go through this. So this is a good way of students doing presentations in your class. All right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So I see we have a good bit of documents in the repository. Good. So you get the gist of it, guys. And that's really how you share content in Blackboard. Now, before I go back to the next part, well, to the PowerPoint, the other thing is how to share your screen. So if you have a video, for example, you might want to share your screen. You go back, it's the same procedure. You go to the share content menu, share content menu. And let me just give you a visual, and I'll show you after what it looks like. So I'm going to show you the slideshow that will, so at least you have a guide. All right. Remember this button at the bottom here. So you will see share application or screen. If you look at the illustration I have here, share application or screen, you're going to click that. All right. In fact, I have more of it here. So let me just back up a bit. So just to recap where we've gotten since the previous recap, we were able to you now know how to share files. All right. You just drag it into this box, and then you can navigate. You should click share now, click on the file, click share now, and then you can navigate throughout the thing. So one of the things with this too is that, you see, unlike Zoom, you can see what slides are forthcoming, and you can skip them accordingly. If it is you covered something already, you don't have to go through it. You could skip it, right? So with Zoom, however, it's a share screen situation, so you don't really get to skip slides and so on. All right? So keep that in mind. This is a good way of allowing you to share your screen, to control your PowerPoint, so to speak. All right?
Hi, Justin. Could you repeat that for me, please?
Sure, no problem. I was saying that unlike Zoom, Blackboard Collaborate allows you to see slides that are forthcoming, almost like a presenter's view. Right? So you see on this illustration here, you could see the slide that is being shown to students on the left side. And then you see on the right side, the slides that have gone and that are about to come. So if you wanted to skip slides, just because you don't have time to go through everything, or you may have covered it in a previous part of the session, you don't have to go through the slides all over again. It's a nice, smooth transition.
Great.
All right? No problem at all. So let's go straight into sharing your screen. So to share your screen, it's the same procedure, similar to where you went for share files. Now you're going to click share application or screen. Share application or screen. So let me know when you get that. Found it? Okay, good, good. Sahida is there. Anybody else?
Yeah, I got it.
Good, good. All right, so we're there, and so don't click anything yet. Follow the steps because it could go haywire pretty quick. So the next thing you're gonna do is click window. You would see once you click share screen, you'll see a window that pops up like this. So you don't want to click entire screen. Do not click entire screen. I'll repeat that. Do not click entire screen. I'll repeat it again. Do not click entire screen. And I'll tell you why. Because when you do that, you're going to see a sort of ripple echo looking effect. Because the system is kind of, you're sharing a screen within a screen within a screen within a screen within a screen. So again, do not click entire screen.
Oh, that is what causes that. Okay.
And the Colosseum say the same thing.
Okay. I was wondering what caused that. Now I know why.
Now you know why, right? Good. And I think Colosseum was just typing exactly what your vocalization, Vivian, because I think she had the same. So, so make sure you don't click entire screen. What you want to do, if you're using, well, you should use Google Chrome because that's the most compatible browser for Blackboard. You should see window. Are you seeing window?
Yes.
Right. When you click window, it's going to show you all the tabs that you have, not tabs, but all the pages that you have open.
Right.
So let's say you have your PowerPoint open, you have your, whatever that might be.
Yeah.
It'll show you all those windows, similar to what you're seeing here. You click on that window. Oh, sorry,
Right.
click on that tile that you're seeing here.
Yeah.
And then you click share.
Oh, the only thing I have open is...
Right, so Rohani, you did the exact thing that I said not to do. Good. So Rohani, okay, good, you fixed it, good. Carla, right, good, very good. Carla, you're good.
The only thing I have up right now is the Blackboard Collaborate window. What happens there?
Right. So in a case like that, just open another, but you'll have to share another window of some sort, right? Another document or something. So open another file, for example, or another window.
Oh. Okay.
Now, one of the things that it will show as well is just so you know, if you don't see your window, that means it's probably minimized. So you don't make sure it's not minimized, right? When I say minimized, like when you click at that button and it goes straight down to the taskbar at the bottom, you don't want to do that. So, so yeah, and that's the basic procedure there. Vivian, you getting through?
Okay. Oh yeah.
Right, and that's how you do it.
And it, okay. Things starting to make sense now.
Right.
Things starting to make
exactly
a lot of sense now.
And the thing with this, let's leave this here for now, Vivian. You might probably want to scroll up a little bit. You would notice that, no, you're sharing a screen. And I forgot to mention this to you guys before. But so this is basically what it looks like. So I'll make the point after. But this is how you share your screen, right? If it's a video, for example, I'm not sure who asked about a video. I can't remember. But let's say you have a YouTube video you'd like to share. You could just follow the same procedure and just select the window with the YouTube video.
Okay, thanks.
Right, do you want to try it now?
Not right now, I don't have any videos up.
All right, okay. All right, so go ahead, Rohani, and you could share this video, any video that you see there. You can just click on any one, just for a demonstration. Go ahead, Rohani.
I don't know why it's not coming up. The hand is just there, but it's not coming up when I click.
Oh, did it go to another window?
I don't think so. Let me just try another one. Let me see.
All right.
No,
You can open up a new tab and just go straight to YouTube.
Here, application, window.
The Sabrina I'm seeing here, I'm not sure which Sabrina it is. Is it Sabrina who? If I'm pronouncing correctly or no?
Hi, are you hearing me?
Yes, I'm hearing you.
Hi, this is Sabrina Hossain Ali from the Health Services Unit.
Okay, great. Because I think we had 2 Sabrinas sign up for this particular session.
Yes.
Thanks so much.
Okay. I do have some questions, but I'll wait until, let me see if I can understand, and once I get it, I'm okay. If I don't, I'll let you know.
Okay, no problem. And I think we just heard the right, there you go, Rohani, go right ahead. Go on, you can click play.
I'm clicking it, but I don't know if it's because of my connection. It's slow here. Let me stop share again.
What was that? Sorry. It was playing just now, though.
Yeah.
Right, we can hear it, but I think you stopped sharing your screen. Right.
You must understand.
So,
touch of your hand.
it may be your internet connection, but you basically seeing the page and you're hearing the audio. So I think maybe the internet connection might be affecting it. Right? So good. Thank you so much for that. So hopefully that was a good demonstration for you. Yes, Sean?
Yes, good afternoon. Videos that are embedded in PowerPoint, would they be able to play? But only via through share screen. Is that
only through share screen?
Okay, good.
So if you have a video embedded in your PowerPoint, then the better thing would be to use the share screen of that PowerPoint.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
All right, good, thanks.
No problem at all. I also forgot to mention, and this is what I was talking about when I was answering Vivian's question. In all those documents that you shared, students can also, I think I did make mention of that students can write on those, right? The annotations that I mentioned. So just making sure that it's there. Let's say, for example, this document. If I were to, you could easily write at the top, if I were to ask you, for example, please identify any acidic foods versus alkaline foods. And you could easily include it there. So let's say if I say fried foods, all right, and I could move that accordingly. All right. It's actually, yes, exactly. So this is now one of the things that I forgot to show you as well is that you could include images or when I say images, sorry, not images, but lines and so on. So let's say if this was something that you want to highlight. So let's say the rule here is, I can't pronounce that, but it's a rule I'm seeing of 80% alkaline, right? So I want to underline that. I could put that there. So to add a line or a shape, you could easily, next to that T icon that we clicked on earlier, you can click on that and you will see options, whether it's a line, an arrow, a rectangle, a circle, etc., etc. Very good, very good. Right. So put this in context of, let's say, if you have an article that you want to share with your students and you want to go through the salient points of the article. This is a good way to do that. You could circle things, right? Use a rectangle and all these different things. Now, before, it was very awkward using these features in Blackboard because, you know, they weren't very user-friendly, I'd say, or customizable. But now it's a little more intuitive and based on the recent updates that they made. So look at how this diagram is looking. So we have various things that are underlined. We have things that are circled, yeah? We have things that are strike through. So yeah, so I just wanted to show you that before going forward. All right. Yes, Sahida?
Yes, Justin. Does that mean that students, while you're presenting, can write on slides at any time, or can you toggle on and off?
Right. So you could easily take it on or off. You would see the for those of you who are moderators, you would see that settings icon next to the share icon, share content icon. You would see the my settings.
Yes.
And that's where you could change it as well. So if you go to that setting, are you a moderator, Sahida?
I am.
Right. So go to, it's a little gear button. You would see it there.
Yes. Yes.
And you see session settings.
Yes. Oh, right. You draw
and you
on
could
whiteboard
see
and
file. Yeah, you could untick that.
Okay, great. And the second part of that would be, since I draw a lot on my PowerPoint while I'm teaching on my screen because I have a stylus, will those annotations show?
And a stylus, yes. Now, if you were to, let me just bring up a whiteboard, because you have a plain whiteboard as well. Let's use the blank whiteboard for now. And if you were to draw something, now you would see it has a sort of built-in stylus here. Next, on the left side of the T, you would see a pen. Yeah?
Yes, correct, yes.
Right. So if you click on that pen, and you were to use your stylus now to draw, because you might have more control with the stylus, you could easily...
Right.
Right now I'm just using my finger because I have a touch screen, but you know, it's more or less the same principle.
Correct, okay.
Right?
Yes, yes, understood.
Right?
Stick to teaching, stick to teaching.
I know, right?
Whoever did that is a better artist than me.
All right, so good. So I just wanted to share that with you. So let's go straight into just to see where we're at now, to keep stock of where we've progressed to. We're progressing nicely, I must say. So we looked at sharing content, sharing your files, creating a session, sharing your screen, and now we're into recording a session. Now that is very simple. Now I don't want you to click anything here. Please don't click anything here because I don't want you to throw off the recording. So to record a session, you're simply going to see a button at the top left side. Right now the session is being recorded, so I don't need you to click anything there. And I don't want you to click anything because I want you to get this recording as well. So I don't want to break up the recording, so to speak. So, but basically, I'm just going to show you where it's at to record a session. It's at the top left side, and then you would see this menu, Start Recording. But with the new updates, you would also see a button on the right side to record, just a little pop-up box. But if you don't see it, you simply go to this side. All right? And you don't have to click this arrow to leave the session. You could simply X off, just close the window. All right, or the tab. So let's take stock of where we're at. We went through adding a virtual room to our sessions. We went through creating a session, joining a session, updating and sharing, uploading and sharing files. We looked at recording a session, which I just showed you. And some of the things that we're going to look at now, I kind of did already. And now these are really engagement avenues through Blackboard Collaborate. Now, first off, you have breakout rooms, which I'll show you in a bit. You have polls, you have annotations, which I showed you a couple times during this session. Of course, class discussions, student presentations, which we kind of did just now in terms of showing you how to share content, how to allow students to move from participants to presenters, all right, and that sort of thing. So one of the last things I'll show you now is using the breakout room. Now the breakout room, let's say you want to allow students to let's see, share do group work, right? It could be during your session, it could be separate, asynchronously. But you want them to have this common online space for them to do their work. It's the same place you're going, share content, but this time you're going to click breakout rooms, right? So I'm not going to ask everyone to do it because sometimes when we all go into breakout groups, the recording could be broken up into 2 parts. So I'm going to choose a couple people to do it, all right? And we do it like 1 or 2 times just to get the feel of it. So let's see. Let's start with Calicia. Are you there? All right, great. Do you have experience in creating breakout groups, or you don't need to go through this? Okay, all right. Okay, no problem. So Vivian, do you need a walkthrough on that in breakout groups?
Yes, I would like that very much, if no one else.
Okay. Okay, no problem. So what I'm going to do is I'll have the instructions on the slide here, but I'm going to walk you through. So don't go too far ahead, all right? So, all right, so let's go straight into it. So you're going to click on share content, and then you're going to click on breakout groups. All right? When you click on breakout groups, so let me know where you're at. Are you seeing a slide, menu that looks, no, don't move the PowerPoint. Good, no, okay, all right. So let's not move the PowerPoint too much because I don't want to confuse Vivian. So Vivian, you're gonna see a slide, a menu that looks like this. You would see assign groups, randomly or custom assignment at the top. Are you seeing that?
Yeah.
Good, so let me explain to everybody. So random assignment means that the system will, the platform, Blackboard will randomly assign persons to different groups. If you want to assign specific persons to specific groups, then you're going to click custom assignment. But there's a caveat. The custom assignment, it's going to take a little while to do, especially if you have a large class. So if you have a teaching assistant or who could sort of help you assign persons ahead of time, then that is perfectly fine. If you don't, then you might want to send students on a little 5-minute break, and then when they come back, you put them in, during that 5-minute break, you assign them to different groups, and that could be that. If not, however, you probably would want to lean on the side of random assignment. Okay? Yes, Sean?
Okay, so Justin, if we need to have the same groups throughout the entire semester, and you customize it, would it be stored or saved? So, you can just go back in and hit it and the exact groups keep come up, if that is possible.
No, but what you can, now, let me ask some more details of that, right? So is it that you want students to have the same groups every time you meet with them in a synchronous session, correct?
No, once we have BBC sessions, I would like the same group members to meet every time we have group sessions.
Right. So in a case like that, the short answer is no. You'll have to you'll have to customize it every time. But you can also create, let's say you want them to meet separately outside of your lecture session, for example. You could create remember I showed you how to create a Blackboard session, right?
Yes.
So you could create a Blackboard room for them and give the name with the person's names in it, right? And they could go there. Now, if it's if it's within a whole session like this with everybody, then it would be better to have your list and maybe an assistant to assign them, so you have that consistent group assignment. If not, you could always put them in groups. Send them on a break and put them in the groups during the break.
Gotcha.
All right?
Yeah, thanks.
No problem at all. Yes, Rohani?
Hi, Justin. What's the maximum number of groups can you assign?
Ooh, good question. I've seen as many as 20 or more groups, 20 to 30 groups tops. you know, but yeah, so that's, I can't remember what the top number is right now, but we haven't maxed out the numbers of groups yet. I think actually in School of Education, Vivian could, and others from School of Education could verify with the DPED program. I know that was being delivered online for a particular year, and I'm not sure if you use breakout groups in those sessions, but they had more than 400 persons in Blackboard at one point in time, and that was before Blackboard was upgraded to what it is now. So I think you have some flexibility in the number of groups, but the number of groups will be determined based on the number of persons in a particular session.
Right.
So for example, Vivian might probably see number of groups right under that random assignment or whatnot. Vivian, are you seeing that?
Yes.
Right. And you would see, based on the number of persons we have here at this particular time, right, minus those who have technical difficulties or dropping out or coming back in, you have a maximum of probably 7 groups, correct? Because you have 21 persons in the session right now.
I'm seeing 8 right now.
Right, because I think it went back up to 22 persons. So you get what I'm saying. So it's based on the number of persons in a particular group, in a particular session, that it will provide you with options as to the number of groups you can have.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, good. So Vivian, you would see allow attendees to switch groups. Yes, go ahead, sorry.
For the groups, is something similar to Zoom where you could put a time limit?
The good question. The time feature is no longer in Blackboard. They took that off. So, but what you can do is the moderator can stay in the main room and give the countdown. So you'll see when we go to the breakout groups, what it might look like. All right. So Vivian, make sure that allow attendees to switch groups is unticked. Do not tick that. Make sure there's no tick in that box. And also make sure that include moderators in group assignment. Make sure that box is not ticked.
Okay, yeah.
I'll say it again, right? That box would include moderators in group assignment. Make sure that box is not ticked. Okay. And there's a reason for that, all right? Because sometimes when the moderators are all in the groups, the session could stop being recorded because there's nobody in the main room, and the system reads as, okay, nobody in the main room, so stop recording. And that we don't want it for that to happen in this context, because I want you to get one full recording of the session. All right, so good. So number of groups, Vivian, you will see by default is set to 2, but you can go as many as 8. So go ahead and select the group, the number of groups.
How many?
Let's say about, you could go for 7 to be on the safe side.
Oh. And it automatically distributes
right
to the number of groups. Okay.
Good. I think someone changed my PowerPoint, but that, I'll guide you through. But I want you to see the PowerPoint so you'll be able to follow. So let me put back up my PowerPoint. I don't know who moved it, but I put it back up. And good. So once you have that, Vivian, 1 sec. Right. So you would see it would assign the persons to groups accordingly. So because it's an odd number that is selected in terms of the number of groups versus the even number of persons in the group in the session. So right. So it reads it for you. So you would see 3 persons, 3 groups of 3 attendees and 4 groups of 2 attendees. Right? You can change it to suit. And then after that, you click start. So click on start.
Start. Okay.
And everybody will be assigned to a group. Right. So everyone is in a main group now. Sorry, everyone is in a group now. What you need to do now, Vivian, and anybody else who's moderator, for example, Rohani, Calicia, or Sahida, you could go ahead and give a countdown in the chat from the main room. So let's tell them they have 30 seconds left, please. So somebody could type it from here, 30 seconds.
Oh, so if we chat here,
they will see it in the main.
So they will see that in the breakout rooms?
Yes. So it's similar to how Zoom works in that regard.
All right.
Somebody could put 15 seconds left, please. Good. And now to end the breakout groups, Vivian, you simply go to the share content, or anybody for that matter, you go to the share content menu, and you just click on that little square icon in a circle.
That's the breakout groups. And breakout groups.
Yes, and breakout groups. So people should be coming back in. Right, so breakout groups have ended. By chance, everyone was able to see the countdown? Right. And basically that's how you do it. So now when you get the recording, you'll see exactly what we were saying on this end. Basically, when you stay in the main room as a moderator, you could post in the chat. Let's say you want to post instructions for students or give them an extension on the time and whatnot, or that sort of thing. Once you are in the main room, you could send that to the main chat, the same chat that we're chatting in here, right? And all the breakout groups will get it. Yeah? Any questions on that?
So what happens in the breakout groups? They are like insulated rooms in the platform.
Yes.
So
yes.
So whomever is in a particular breakout group, they could chat with each other, but they wouldn't hear what other members of the other breakout groups are discussing.
Correct. Okay. Picture it like this. We all know what well, some of us might know what LRC is like, right? On campus. You have the LRC auditorium, but you also have tutorial rooms, and different rooms there. Likewise, in School of Education, Vivian, you have the auditorium, yeah, but you have also the other classrooms, right? So it's a similar setup. The breakout groups would be like the other subsidiary small classrooms, and the main room would be the main auditorium. You could picture it like that. I'm just trying to make an analogy to make it easier for you.
Right.
Right?
Makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's basically how it goes. Let's try
another question.
Go ahead.
So if you have like a PowerPoint slide or something up, the members of the breakout rooms would be able to see these slides on the main screen?
From the main room, I think so. I'm not too sure. Were you guys able to see the slide from the breakout groups? Anybody could verify?
No, Justin, we weren't.
No.
Right.
No, we won't.
That's right. Yeah, that's what I figured. Because they normally have their own whiteboard that they can use. Each group. So let me break it down. Each group has their own chat, their own breakout, their own whiteboard, and they can also upload documents as well that they could use when they come back to the main room. So it's the same way you uploaded documents, you could also do that in your breakout groups.
How do you set the timer for the breakout groups?
It was not timer. They just we did, like I said before, you would stay in the main room and you keep the time, and you just give 30 seconds. So what I was doing is telling them to put 30 seconds, 15 seconds, and I think Calicia said 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 at the end. So it was just a sort of simulation of it. We could do it one more time because we have a little bit. We have about 10 minutes again, and so let's try it this time. So this time I'll let Dulary, I'm not saying your name. Okay, I'm gonna make you a moderator, and I'm gonna ask you now to follow the same procedure. All right, so you're going to go to share content. That's the middle icon at the bottom. Doulary, sorry. And you're going to click on breakout groups. Breakout groups. Let me know when you're there.
Good, I'm here.
Okay, good. And then you're going to see a menu that looks something like this. So you should see randomly assigned groups, custom assign, etc.
Yes.
Leave it as random. And make sure, do not include, so make sure that box with include moderators in group assignment. Make sure that box is not ticked. Yeah. Then you want to determine the number of groups you'd like. So you might want to select a different number for now. Let's say any number you see fit.
Right.
Right. So let's say, so how many groups did you select?
3 groups.
4, 5, 3 groups? Okay, good. So what is the system telling you in terms of the numbers of attendees in each group?
2 groups of 5 attendees and 1 group of 4 attendees.
Right. So you automatically know, which is the largest group, which is the smallest group, that kind of thing. Right? Then you scroll, but make sure that box with allow attendees to switch groups is not ticked as well. Because the last thing you want is the students to be switching different groups and then it becomes chaotic. So you want to make sure you can manage the activity. And once you've done that, you click start. So click start.
Good.
And they're in the breakout groups now. And you can easily type in the chat from here because you're in the main room. So you could type 5 seconds left.
So I go into the chat and I tap 5 seconds. Okay.
Right. And they would, I'm just remembering 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. But good.
And how do I bring it back?
Right. So to end it, what you would do is go to the same share content menu.
Right.
And you will see breakout groups. You will see a little square in a circle next to breakout groups. You click on that and it will end the breakout groups.
Okay, good.
Good. And everyone is back in. All right. So guys, that's how you create a breakout group and how you manage it. I think we could do one more because I wouldn't go into polls because I think we did that with the feedback icon earlier in the session. So let's do it one more time. Is that okay, or are you good with it? All right, Sahida, you are good? Okay, good, good.
I mean,
all right, well, go ahead, Carlisle.
I was saying that let us do polls, I would say.
Oh, you want to do polls? Okay, all right. So we'll do polls. I'm not sure if you saw the feedback feature, but the polls very quickly is fairly okay. I mean, I prefer the feedback, but you have your preference. So to do that, you simply go to the same feature with the share content. Share content. So let me make you, Carlisle, a moderator. I'm not sure if you're a moderator as yet, but
no presenter.
Right. So I just made you a moderator. So you're going to follow the instructions just as I'm explaining it, right? And you have the thing here. So click on the menu, the share content menu.
Right.
In fact, we could make more persons moderators here, but I wouldn't do it because I don't want to disrupt the session. So click on polling. Click on polling.
Right.
Right? And you should see something that looks on the right side here where you would see multiple choice or yes or no choices. Correct?
Yes.
Right. So let's say for now you want to select a yes or no choice.
Right.
And this is what I was talking about, where it could become a little more Not the smoothest thing, because you would have to type your question in, and it doesn't save it for you unlike Zoom. So you have to type your question. So go ahead and type your question. Let me know when you're done.
I'm done.
Oh, okay. And then you click start. So click start. Good. Right. So you have that there. All right. And to hide responses, oh, you hid response. Right. So hiding responses means that people could see sorry, show responses means that the poll is locked and people could see the responses. So I'm making it so people could vote again. So continue to vote, guys. And so you could see the live results, Carlisle and everybody else, in terms of yes or no. And once you click show responses, so go ahead and click show responses, Carlisle.
Right.
Good. So everyone should be able to see the results there.
Right.
All right?
Yes.
And that's how you do it.
So
and it's what?
It's anonymous.
Yes, well, to an extent. To an extent.
Right. Okay, thank you.
But I wouldn't say it's anonymous, because there is a way, you know, I don't know if I should say it, because just know that it's not anonymous as you think. Yeah? So that's why I say, you know, it's better with just the feedback option, because you could vocalize, you could ask the question verbally, and persons they have more fun, I guess, clicking the different emojis or responses and feedback and so on.
Okay.
All right. Now to stop sharing, I know I stopped sharing it by accident, but you would see this little square in a circle icon. On the slide, you would see it here. Is this beneficial to you? And you see this little, let me put a little circle around it so you'll see what I'm talking about.
All right. I didn't see that.
So this little button here.
Okay.
There?
Yes.
I just put it in blue for you. Once you click on that little square icon, it will stop sharing the poll. All right? So Zwena, let's do it very quickly, Zwena. I want you to create a poll. Correct. Yes, Calicia. Now, if you want to create a pointer, now, just to let you know, Blackboard with its recent updates took out the pointer. Now, oh, no problem. Took out the pointer. Now, we're trying to get them to fix it. They provided some options that I wasn't too fond of, so we're still working on it. They're supposed to provide us with an update, but in the event that we don't have that update, the next best thing would be to create an arrow. So let's say, for example, you have a line and you want to highlight something. You simply click the line icon. All right, and you can, and that's basically it there. Or somebody inserted an arrow, better yet. All right. Oh, that was you, right? So you could just put your stuff. You could just put it right there. All right. But it's not like a pointer that you could move all over. I mean, you could move the arrow, yes, but it's not as dynamic as the pointer you had before. All right, Sahida, go ahead.
Yeah, Justin, did we move back in time a little bit? Why would they have done that?
I was most upset about it as well.
I
don't think yeah, I don't think they told us. It was only after a while that we realized that the pointer was moved. Now, I know very much in medical sciences and some of the other sciences, this is an important feature.
Yes.
So yeah, so we've been working with them to make that possible, and I don't think drawing an arrow on almost every slide is user friendly, right? So
right.
So yes, so we send them back to the drawing board.
Really, yes. Instead of them sending us to the drawing board, we should send them to the drawing board.
Exactly. There you right. So that's exactly it. Right. So that brings us very much to the end of this evening's session. I must admit, I think you guys did pretty good. This is probably one of the few times that this particular workshop has ended within the time, and I think because some of you have some access, have some experience with Blackboard, or you were able to follow a little better or whatnot. But these are just some extra tools that you could use outside of Blackboard, of course. Let's say through a sharing screen situation. You might want to share a poll, an external poll, a game. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Or even a URL. All right. As I mentioned earlier, you might want to send them the URL, post a URL in your chat for them to look at a particular video on YouTube or whatever platform you have. All right. Are there any other questions as we close? Yes, Rohani.
Hi, Justin. Would there be a session for students, because it's very important that students also know how to navigate Blackboard Collaborate?
Yes. So we have a couple of things. Let me just share my screen a little bit right after this, right? So we have some support avenues, but I think I'm not sure what DSSD has offered, but I can probably work with them to see if we could organize something. But yes, MS Teams, that is actually supposed to be coming up, but we have some changes that are forthcoming. I can't speak to them yet because there's no official sign off on them, but once that is set in stone, then I'll offer some training on that, Swina. So with regard to students training and orientations, we have some asynchronous training, and we have a training course as well. So let me see if I can share my screen and show you. All right, let me see, where can I find it? Just one sec. So we have here, let me pull the slide out. We have a couple avenues for training for both you and your students. All right. Let me get it, one sec. I'm just going to share my screen so you see what it looks like. So you could always direct your students to that space. It's all in My Learning, by the way. So you would see here, we have support avenues. So we have My Learning for staff, we have My Learning for students, right? These are some other things. So this is where you would also get the service catalog. Is also where you'll get the same form I sent for you earlier to request your course enrollment keys. But for Blackboard, we have training for faculty, training for students, and then we have technical support. So I think this is a hyperlink to a site, as we see here. There's also what we have provided, and I know specifically this part because I created it, support website, a resource website for both staff and students. And you would have seen it when you registered for this program, this course, I believe. We normally send out a resource kit. And we've done it for both staff and students as well. So students also have access to that. But if we need a synchronous session such as this, we can see if we can organize one with the Department of Student Services support services. Yeah.
Thanks. That would be helpful. Yeah.
Definitely, I think it's a good idea. You see, I'm not sure what we have a mandate to help faculty in particular, but I think I definitely agree that students need that help, which is why we've taken a more active approach in terms of creating asynchronous materials, because we know we cannot do all students at the same time like a platform like this, but we have provided some support for students. Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks.
No problem at all. So, any other questions or? No? Okay. That I guess I'll take it that this session was, beneficial to you. No problem at all, Sahida. You will receive an email with a link. Yes, Carlisle?
It was.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. So you would get a link to evaluate this particular session, just to let us know what worked for you, how we could improve, that sort of thing, and we'd appreciate that. The other thing is, if you need any sort of support or help, you could definitely send, well, if it's technical, you definitely want to contact service desk at sta.uwi.edu. All right. You are most welcome, Yvonne. And you can send an email to ctl_bl@sta.uwi.edu, or you could send an email to me directly. All right. Either way, I'll get it. So no problem at all. And again, everyone, keep your sessions, your Blackboard sessions, practical, collaborative. Think outside the box, and make it lively and engaging. All right. Thank you once again for your attendance, not just your attendance, but your participation. And I'm seeing the chat as well. You're most welcome. You're most welcome. All right. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome, Vivian.
Thank you.
And for those of you in couples, see you on Thursday. I'm just saying. All right.
Thank you so much, Justin.
No problem at all. Have a great afternoon, everyone.
Thanks. You too.